Live, this is News 6.
Breaking news, a man, woman, and 2 children are dead after a stabbing at a local restaurant leads to shots fired at a hospital and then a crime scene on I-4. We have new information and live team coverage on this developing story. Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Kirsten O'Connor in for Bridget.
And I'm Justin Wormuth. Just a tragic start to our Monday after news of this mass killing that apparently all started because of a marriage gone wrong. This whole ordeal happening after a woman was stabbed and 2 others were run over late last night at the Chili's on Lake Mary Boulevard.
But a short time later, deputies say that man showed up at Central Florida Regional Hospital and started shooting before he and his 2 young children were found dead along I-4 not far away. We have live team coverage on the morning news. Johnny Fernandez is live along I-4 where the tragic discovery was made early this morning. But we want to start with Mark Lehman live at the hospital. Mark, crime scene investigators are still out there on the scene. What you can tell us about how this all started?
Kirsten, there are a lot of disturbing details we're learning about how everything unfolded. Here behind me, you can see the crime scene at Central Florida Regional Hospital, this ER, and the gunfire unfolding here at the emergency room is one of 3 crime scenes in what amounts to a violent rampage overnight. Now take a look. This is the scene where everything began around 10 last night. Deputies say the suspect, 30-year-old Henry Ramon Brown, waited in the trunk of his wife's car at a Chili's restaurant in Lake Mary, and as she was leaving, investigators say Brown stabbed her several times before running off. Then, as a nearby nurse and paramedic were tending to her injuries, deputies say Brown ran over all 3 of them as he drove away. Those 3 were rushed to the hospital here, and it was during that time when investigators say Brown switched vehicles and picked up his 2 young children. He then showed up to the emergency room here where he was spotted by a deputy. Gunfire is exchanged in the ER before Brown led deputies on a chase to I-4. The sheriff's office explains what happened next.
We found that the driver had committed suicide. The 2 child passengers that were in the car, age 1 and 4, were also killed by the suspect.
And news of that brought an audible gasp to us here. We also learned that Brown's wife and the mother of those 2 children died from her injuries here at the hospital. This morning she's being identified as 31-year-old Sharice Brown. As we come back out here live, you can still see that crime scene tape surrounding the emergency room at Central Florida Regional Hospital. Still a crime scene to process here this morning. And as that is going on, we're learning more details about the suspect and victim in this case. We've learned that the 2 were involved in a domestic battery incident that happened in December of 2015, and at that time an injunction was filed. We're told in January of this year the injunction was filed, but the details of that are still have not been released. Right now I'm working to gather more information on that and exactly what happened, how everything unfolded. And as soon as we learn any new information, we'll pass it along to you here on News 6. Justin and Kirsten.
Mark, thank you so much. As Mark Lehman just explained, that suspect in the stabbing and hospital shooting was found dead along I-4 near 1792. This is some video from that scene. Also dead inside that truck, the suspect's 2 young children, just 1 and 4 years old. That is where we find News 6 reporter Johnny Fernandez. He continues our team coverage this morning. Johnny, that highway is now back open after being shut down pretty much all night long.
Kirsten, that's right. Seminole County deputies, they try to make it a point to get the highway back open at around 6 o'clock, and they did just that. The pickup truck that was involved in this incident was actually towed away within the last 30 to 40 minutes. So it definitely looks a little bit different from what it looked like overnight. Let's take a look at some of that video of that scene. Now, I-4 had been shut down for hours after deputies say the car chase ended right here on I-4 right by 1792. Deputies say that the car chase ensued after the suspect, Henry Brown, fled from them. They say after he stabbed his wife, first, Brown went to an apartment complex, picked up his 2 children, and drove off to the hospital in a Ford pickup. Deputies say when he showed back up at the hospital, he was confronted by deputies and started firing shots and then fled from them moments later. Deputies say that is when the car chase ensued and ended right here on I-4 right by 1792. Now, the road is back open, but there still may be some minor traffic delays. And of course, for that part of our story, we're going to head over to Amy Biondello in the Napleton Traffic Center. We're going to be staying out here to keep you guys up to date also on air, online, and on social media. Justin, Kirsten.
Johnny, thanks so much, and we are expecting developments throughout the day on this big breaking story. We'll post any new information as we get it on clickorlando.com, powered by News 6.